Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a good wherever you are. My name is JP. Welcome to Websites for Beginners, and this is a new feature which has been recently released in Divi 5, which allows you to create your personalized workspace. It's basically the layout of the page. I'll show you how it works, and then I'll look at, I think, what they want the workflow to be when working this. Otherwise, it's not really speeding up your workflow. Then finally, I'll just add my little bit of criticism because there's something in Divi that's still not working for me when it comes to the workspace. So the idea of the workspace is how you work with the panels. You know, these panels you have on the left and on the right, and it may be that sometimes you want to focus on one aspect, like you want to move things around and then you need the layers open. Other times you may be bringing in pre-made stuff, or you want to do some editing and then you would like to have the inspector open, right? And where is the inspector? So many options. So for example, let's say I want the inspector here. I want to drag it out wider, and then I want it to appear there in the top right hand corner for some reason. What you do now is you go to the panel on the left, and where this little icon used to appear, that was a little cog for the settings. This is now changed and it is called Workspace. That is something you have to take note of, is that the settings option is gone and it has been replaced by the workspace option, which includes the settings option. When you select this, you're going to get the workspace function at the very top, and it is set to global. If you look at the drop down, you have the global here, and it's called the website workspace. What I don't get about it, it's all there in its own little tab, and there's nothing you can add or change here. This is basically the default as it comes with Divi 5. And then your workspaces. And then I have created these two. We're going to create another one for this one that we currently have. And that's what you have here. So the workspace is here at the top, and that's about it. The global is the one that you start with within Divi 5. What I'll do is, now that I've created this one here with this inspector in the top right corner, I will save it as a new workspace. And here I want to say, you'll see when we get to the second part, the flow, the name is very important. Do not make this complicated. Do not make it too similar to others, because you're going to use the command center to call this up very quickly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a workspace 002. Very original, but this is what I'm going to use to remember. If I want this one to always appear when I open up my Divi, I'm going to select this option, set as default. I don't want it. This is just an example. And I say save as new workspace. And yeah, the saving options always confuse me within Divi. Now, what happens next is I close this and I go around and I do all kinds of other mumbo jumbo and I move things around. And now I think, oh, I want to go back to that workspace I had earlier. I'll go again to my tab on the left, workspace, and then I will select the active workspace and I'll go to 002, and it resets everything. Now, immediately you understand that if you are setting up your own workspaces and you want to jump around, going to the tab on the left, selecting workspace, then going to the top and selecting from here the different ones that you've created is going to be very cumbersome. And that is where I believe that Divi 5 has the workflow in mind, that you have to use the command center. If you are not familiar with the command center, it is a quick way to tell Divi what you want it to do. I have to admit, I don't use it often. I completely forget about it. But it's one of those things, again, that the more you get into it, the more you later on cannot live without it. If you look on the left where you see this little lightning bolt, it says Command Center, and this is where the Command Center appears. Think of the Command Center as what you would do with AI chats recently, is you are going to tell the Command Center what you want to do. And the command center is kind of smart enough that if you give it a command that can only be interpreted in one way, it's going to execute that command. So let me give you an example. I'll open the command center and you will see it appears here. But what I would recommend is that you definitely learn the shortcut for this one, which is Control K, Command K. And I'll hit that on my keyboard. And I don't even have to look there in the search box. I'm going to type in 002. I'm not going to say look for. I'm not going to say activate, nothing like that, because the command center say, if you type in 002, you definitely want to load it, right? 002 and press enter on my keyboard. Ta-da! You see? And that's how easy it is. For example, the default setting is global for the workspace. If I hit Control-K, Command-K again, and I just type in global, then it gives me the global setting that I had earlier. And that's how I believe the workspace, together with the command center, is envisioned. Here is my only gripe that I have still with the panels layout, and that also includes the workspace. And I don't think this is directly tied to the workspaces, but I just want to mention it again here. The great thing that Divi allows me to do is to undock and dock panels. So my layers is open. Let's say I want to open my variable manager, and it's currently here. I dock it next to the layers. I would like it to behave like this. I would like it to be tabs. I prefer tabs this way. It doesn't need to open and close, and I can just select the layers and the variables as I please, and I can bring in more tabs. The problem is that when things get too crowded and I close any of these tabs, like the variable manager, and I reopen it, it's again at the bottom. The only way to get it to dock as an adjacent tab is I need to drag it out again, and I need to drag it in there again. And that's where the workaround of the workspace can come in handy. If you have messed it up and you want to bring it back there, all you need to do is hit your Control-K and bring up the workspace, and it will dock it in the state that you have saved it. That is Workspaces. Yeah, it's a quality of life improvement. It's not going to improve your building, right? You still need to be excellent at that. From me, JP, see you in the next video. And there's a lot rolling out for Divi 5. Loads of new stuff. Absolutely love it.